You're running a real business. You've got clients to manage, stories to tell, and a content schedule that never stops. And somehow you're still doing all of it in a video editor that's 50 layers deep, color-coded with 12 different labels, and one accidental render error away from total collapse. You know the one. The timeline that started simple and turned into a monster. The one where you spend 4 hours hunting through stock libraries for a single 5-second B-roll clip that doesn't quite match your lighting, where you have to manually mask out artifacts, where there's no native sound, no easy scaling, and no consistency. Just raw, chaotic data that you have to manually babysit. That is not a system. That is a liability. Today, that ends. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to replace that broken manual process with a high-output AI video workflow that can save you 10 hours or more on every project. We're looking at the tools and the systems that allow you to go from a blank screen to a finished 4K export without the traditional friction of the edit. If you're tired of fighting your software, and you want to start building a production engine that actually scales, you are in the right place. On this channel, we break down creative technology so you can actually use it. No hype, no fluff, just the tools that save you real time, explained the way a smart colleague would explain them. If that is useful to you, hit subscribe right now. Let's talk about the current state of video production. If you are a professional creator in 2026, your biggest bottleneck isn't your imagination, it's the friction between your idea and the final export. Think about your current B-roll process. You search a stock site, you download a low-resolution preview, you color grade it to match your A-roll. Then you go to an audio library, find a sound effect, and spend 15 minutes trying to sync the sound of a door closing or a car driving by. You do this 20 times for a single video. That is 100 small decisions that drain your creative energy. The first pillar of this new workflow is the shift from searching to generating. In the old model, you were limited by what a stock photographer decided to shoot 5 years ago. In the AI workflow, you define the shot. Using tools like Google's Veo 3.1 or Runway's Gen 4, the search phase is replaced by intent. When you prompt for a specific camera movement, like a slow dolly zoom in a neon-lit rainstorm, you aren't looking for a needle in a haystack. You are directing the physics of the scene. In our testing, this shift alone saves an average of 3 hours per project. You get the hero shot right the first time because you aren't settling for close enough. But the real time saver, the feature that truly changes the math for busy creators, is native audio generation. This is the biggest leap forward in 2026. Traditionally, audio is a post-production task. You finish the edit, then you layer in the sound. The new workflow flips this. When you generate a clip in a tool like Veo 3.1, it generates a synced soundscape simultaneously. We're talking about synced dialogue, ambient sound, and music in a single pass. For a creator making high-volume content, removing the audio syncing phase is like gaining a full extra day of work every week. Let's look at the fast mode versus quality mode logic. Time management is about knowing when to be fast and when to be perfect. When you're in the brainstorming phase, you use the fast mode. You generate 5 or 6 variations of a scene in under a minute each. You see what works, you check the composition, and you get approval. Once the concept is locked, you switch to quality mode for the final 4K render. This prevents you from wasting hours waiting for high-resolution renders of shots you might not even use. It is a logic-driven approach to production that mirrors how professional studios operate. The third pillar is consistency. The biggest fear for any editor using AI is that the character in shot 1 won't look like the character in shot 2. The current generation of creative tools has solved this with temporal consistency and style locking. You can now set a visual DNA for your project. You define a specific aesthetic, say a 1970s film stock look with a specific color palette, and the system applies that logic across every generation. This means you spend less time in the color grading panel trying to force different clips to live in the same world. You are building a visual system, not just collecting isolated clips. Like a slow dolly zoom in a neon-lit rainstorm, you aren't looking for a needle in a haystack. You are directing the physics of the scene. Now, How does this actually fit into your existing editor? Whether you use DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere Pro, the workflow is surprisingly clean. The output from these AI models is no longer just web-ready garbage. We're talking about high bitrate files with embedded metadata. In our test workflow, we were able to take a generated clip, drop it into a timeline, and have it ready for a final export in seconds. The time you usually spend on technical cleanup, masking, sharpening, and noise reduction is virtually eliminated. Let's break down a real-world scenario. You're editing a 10-minute video. You need 30 pieces of B-roll. In a traditional workflow, at 20 minutes per piece for searching, downloading, grading, and audio syncing, that's 10 hours of work. In the AI-driven workflow, at roughly 5 minutes per generation, including audio and 4K upscaling, you have those same 30 pieces in 2.5 hours. You've just saved 7.5 hours on B-roll alone. When you add in the time saved on revisions and client feedback, the 10-hour mark is a conservative estimate. The landscape is moving toward video as code, where your instructions dictate the output in real time. This isn't about replacing the editor, it's about replacing the grunt work. It's about freeing you from the manual labor so you can focus on the high-level decisions that actually make your content move people. If you are still manually babysitting every single frame of your edit, you are operating on an outdated model. The goal of this workflow is to move you from being an operator to being a director. An operator spends their time fighting the software. A director spends their time refining the vision. By systemizing your tool selection and leveraging native audio and style locking, you are building a repeatable content engine. So, if you're ready to stop wasting those 10 hours and start reclaiming your creative energy, here is your action plan. Start with one project. Don't try to move everything at once. Use an AI tool for just your B-roll and your sound design. See how it feels. See how much faster your timeline becomes. I think you'll find that once you move to a logic-based workflow, going back to the old manual way feels like trying to edit film with a pair of scissors and a roll of tape. In 2026, the creators who win aren't the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who have the best systems. They understand that a great video is an asset, but a slow process is a liability. Determine your bottleneck, pick your tools, and stop letting the technical side of the industry hold back your output. If this deep dive into the AI video workflow was helpful to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are constantly testing the latest tools and building the systems that help you stay productive in an AI-driven world. Don't let the technology overwhelm you. Leverage it to build something better. I will see you in the next one.